What's up, everybody? My family and I are driving down to Seattle right now. Why are you for one of my uncle's weddings. And instead of sitting in silence or sitting and listening to some music for the next 2 hours, I thought, hey, let's record a video. Let me answer some questions that have come in. So I have my beautiful wife with me. I have my son. They will peek over a little bit. What's up? Got my boy in the back, and we got 2 hours. All right. So I'm going to answer probably about 7 questions, 6, 7, as my son would say. And and then we'll get there. Alrighty. Hey, are you ready to break fear and build freedom in your life? Well, if so, you're in the right place. Welcome to BF Squared. Let's get started. Woo! All right, so like I said, I'm going to be answering some questions that you all have sent in. So my wife is going to be asking me these questions. Alvera, say what's up.
Hi.
There she is. All right, so without further ado, if you can click screen, pink, pink. There we go. All right, question number 1. What is it?
Okay, so the first question that someone asked you is, why does business always feel so slow around the holidays and the beginning of the year? Is that normal?
All right. So why does business feel so slow around the holidays and the new year is the question. So that is a great question. So what happens from November until February is people are inundated with the holidays, with family coming in, with travel. And so yeah, you're right. Business is slow. People stop buying unless you're in specific, business. Unless you're in specific, oh my gosh, what is that called? Boom, 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 boom. Unless you're in a specific business, people tend to stop buying around this time of year because they're focused on family. Now, if you're like a toy maker, if you paint, if you sell diamonds, or things like that, business likely will pick up for you. Okay. But here's the beautiful thing about the time. Just because it's slow doesn't mean that you have to slow down. A lot of people are taking this time off and they'll be trying to revamp at the beginning of the year. If you're a savvy entrepreneur, which I know you are, that's why you asked that question, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be sharpening your pencil. Okay. So you're going to get smarter. Your SOPs are going to get better. All right. Your systems, you're going to get more dialed in. I dare you during this time to reflect on 2025. Reflect on this whole year. What has worked and what hasn't? Right now is a great time to trim the fat, double down on the things that did work. Okay. Because honestly, the question is beautiful and you hit it right on the head. It does slow down. For me, when I'm coaching, it slows down. People are focusing on their family. When I'm in my real estate business, it tends to slow down because you know what? Up here in the Pacific Northwest, it gets ugly around this time and people want to hunker in, right? So with that being said, I'll just reiterate the fact that right now is not the time for you to slow down. Right now is for you to focus on your business in a different mindset. Okay. So get better, get sharper, build momentum, right? And honestly, here's a bonus tip. A lot of people don't reach out right now because they feel like, oh, people are with their families and they're traveling, so I shouldn't call them. I dare you, if you have a business to where you reach out and you prospect, I dare you to give somebody a call. Don't bring up, your business. If you're in real estate, don't say, hey, I was just seeing if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest. Just be a human being. Reach out, be genuine, ask people if they have plans. People love to talk about the things that they have going on in their lives. So do that. Be a human, okay? But don't slow down just because business has slowed down. Sharpen your pencil right now so that when we go into this next year, you're already ahead of the curve.
That was great.
Thank you.
All right. Here's another one that someone sent in.
What we got?
How do you stay consistent when you're not feeling motivated or confident?
How do you stay consistent when you're not feeling motivated or confident? So that's a really good question, actually. I love that question because motivation, it goes up and down like this, right? If you've ever gone to a conference, like a real estate conference or a jeweler's conference, or even just a mindset conference, you go there and you're all jacked up and you're like, yes, I'm going to go and I'm going to conquer the world. You're taking all these notes. You're ready to explode your business. And a month, maybe 2 months goes by and you forgot everything that you've already said. Maybe you've implemented one thing, right? But you're like, dang it. You start to feel like, oh, this isn't the business for me again. So how do you stay motivated? Number 1 is always remember your why. Okay. Always remember your why. whether that be your beautiful family, or you want to achieve a level of success financially, mentally, emotionally. You want to be able to travel. Remember your why. That's what's going to wake you up every morning, right? Because you have to obtain that for yourself. Okay. Your why can't be somebody else's why, right? For instance, just use my wife. She's in here right now. My wife is not what she thinks, what she believes is she's not an entrepreneur at heart. Okay. So she's okay with, she actually prefers, right, a 9 to 5, boom, boom, boom. Her why is, listen, I want stability in what I am doing. If I were to say, babe, nope, today I want you to be like me and be crazy and go out there and hunt. And if you don't hunt, you don't eat. My wife would probably, what would you say to that?
We're not eating.
She said, we're not eating is what she said, right? So your drive and your why can't be somebody else's. So remember your why. Like, I dare you to take a minute and just think about it. Like, why am I doing this? Are you doing it for yourself? Are you doing it for your family, your friends, whoever? Are you doing it because you want to accomplish something? And know that will beat motivation. Now, the first thing that I really should have started off with, though, is discipline is the number one cure-all. Okay, discipline and consistency would be the number one cure-alls to anything that you're facing in your business. So if you're feeling not motivated, stay disciplined, right? I'd venture to say that there are times where Steph Curry doesn't want to go and shoot 500 shots a day. But I bet you that he's happy with the results, right? I bet you that he's in love with the fact that, you know what, he stayed disciplined even on those days where he didn't want to get out of bed and take those shots, because now he's known as the greatest shooter of all time. Okay. I love this question because I have my son in the back and we're going through some things with him. He really, really, really wants to be successful in sports. Well, you can't just be motivated by watching YouTube or listening to, I don't know, who's that guy he watched, Kai Cenat, or what's the other one? Corey Kenshin. Like, it's cool that they're reaching success, but my son has to reach it for himself as well. So he has to be disciplined in his sports, disciplined in his school, disciplined as growing up in a young man, right? Growing up as a young man. So those things will always outweigh the ebbs and flows of motivation. All right. I want to make sure that I answered that question fully. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay. This next question is so real. How do I know if I'm actually called to the thing I feel drawn to, or if I'm just convincing myself?
Ooh, how do I know that I'm actually called to the thing that I'm drawn to, or am I just convincing myself? Man, you know what? So that's a good question. You know what? You almost got me on that one. So how do I just give it to me one more time?
How do I know if I'm actually called to the thing that I'm drawn to, or if I'm convincing myself? Okay,
so I would start off by saying, focus on your relationship with the person who called you. Now, of course, I'm talking about Jesus, right? If Jesus has called you to something, Jesus is not the author of confusion, right? Like, if he's called you to something, it will be apparent. There'll be days where you may be drawn to something else. However, the core remains. So I'll use myself as an example. I can look back over my life and I've always been in the service industry. I don't know why, but I've always been in the service industry. My first job was McDonald's, working with my aunt Jerica at McDonald's. Then I started working at a barbecue joint. Literally, that was the name of it, barbecue joint. Really good place in Oak Harbor, Washington, if you're ever there. And then I started working at a movie theater. That's a little service adjacent. Then went from that to the restaurant industry, which is, that is service-based at its core. And the commonalities are making someone's day better, right? Like, not focusing on myself, but how can I serve this person? If somebody's walking into the restaurant, right, being so dialed in that I know, and this is true, I know what that person is going to order before they sit down. So I put their order in and I have it ready for them, by the time they're set, things like that. So I'm like, okay, if I say that, well, then I guess I'm meant to be in the service or the restaurant industry for the rest of my life. That's not true, because the restaurant industry is part of what? It's part of the service industry, right? So I know that I'm called to serve. It's the difference between your calling and your gifting. Your calling does not change. God has called you to do something. Now your gifting is the skills and abilities that you have to help you obtain and serve in those areas. Does that make sense? So you can even think of a job as a gifting, right? And you're creating, as entrepreneurs, we're creating jobs or creating a business that is hopefully surrounded by your calling. So perfect. So again, like I said, relationship, talk to the Father, right? I pray on it. If it's something that is like super serious, like we're entrepreneurs, everything that we do is supposed to, go to the moon. So pray on that, fast on it. But then also you should have mentors in your life, coaches in your life that know what your plans are, what your goals are. Like you could be open and honest with them. Okay. I'd encourage everyone to have somebody in your life that you can talk to. All right. Whether that be your pastors or your spouse or somebody else who's in the entrepreneur journey as well. And share those things. Hey, you know what? By this time next year, I want to open up a real estate office, or I want to open up a jewelry store. Or I want to open up a gaming arcade or whatever have you, and then share those things, but not just to some random person, somebody who knows you beyond the fluff, right? I could tell my wife, who's sitting right next to me, I could tell her, you know what, babe, I want to open up a shoe store. What would your response be to me opening up a shoe store?
It's not your calling.
That's not right. Like, I'm like, okay. She'd honestly, I think, like, if we weren't driving and I wasn't, recording a video, she'd be like, that's interesting. Tell me more about that. And the reason why she would say that is because that is out of the norm, right? That is not something that has followed the pattern of what she's seen me pursue for the past 10 years. Does that make sense?
It does.
There we go. All
right. So the next question. Someone said that they're feeling overwhelmed trying to juggle family, faith, and their business dreams. So their question was, how do you navigate all of that without burning out?
Without burning out is probably the key to that question. So without burning out, I want to answer this I want to reverse engineer this. So without burning out, essentially burnout happens when you don't have clear vision, when you don't have systems to duplicate what you do best, right? So that you don't have to be everything or be everywhere in your business. And then also, taking it a step further, you said family, faith, and business. Is that what it was? You know what's really cool is oftentimes you can invite your family into your faith and into your business. I mean, truly your faith, 1000%. My family and I, we don't miss a Sunday, okay? All right, we don't do that. All right, we in there, we serving the Lord. We pray together every night, okay? However, my business, I've went out and seen houses with my wife so many times. My coaching clients, there's so many times where I'll ask them if I can invite my wife into the room so that they can say hi. Am I lying?
No.
You said, I'll invite her into the room so that she can come in and say hi to these people, right? Why? Because that's me. That's who I am. Like, I am better because of my wife. And what's amazing is if you think I'm a cool coach, if you think I'm a cool real estate agent, if you think I'm a cool speaker or whatever, it's because of her, right? I'm doing all this because of her and because of my son in the back. And so they are part of everything that I'm doing. So in order to not burn out, I try not to divide the three things, right? Like, I mean, obviously there are times where it's, if I'm working on a contract or something, I'm not gonna be like, hey babe, what form should I use for, an extension or blah, blah, blah. She's not gonna know the answer to that. However, I can work from home some days, or I can, let me take the day off and spend time with my family. Or, hey, just like I said, we built in praying together, built in going to church together. We listen to gospel music all the time. We're dancing and singing in the kitchen together, right? There are so many ways that you can include your family into your business and especially into your faith to where that burnout doesn't happen. And so I would say, talk to your family. Be open with your family about your goals, your dreams, your plans, not only for yourself, but for your family as well. All right. My son and I, we talk about it all the time. He feels open enough to share with me, his goals. Dad, I want to make it to the NFL is what he told me. Well, guess what? As his dad, what am I going to do? I'm going to step in and say, all right, if that's your goal, then let's talk about it. What do you need to do to accomplish not only the NFL's up here. What about, because he's in 8th grade right now, what about next year when you go into freshman? Are you going to be a starting quarterback? Well, we got to work on that first. And then varsity, are you going to be starting varsity quarterback? And then, so go from boom, boom, boom. Not only that, all right, college. What college you want to go to? I don't know, Dad. I'm only 13. It's time to start thinking about that. It's time to start thinking about that. So I know I'm getting long-winded on the answer, but to encapsulate my answer on that one is find ways that you can include your family into your business and your faith.
Okay, thank you. All right, so this one hit me when I saw it. I feel behind compared to everyone else. What would you tell someone like me?
I feel behind compared to everyone else?
Yes.
What would you say to someone like me? Well, number one, I'd say, who are you comparing yourself to? Who are you comparing yourself to and why? The Bible is very, very specific on this when it says comparison is the thief of joy, right? However, I'm not going to act like we're all robots. I'm a human. There are times still today where I'm like, dang it, I should be farther ahead. Or man, I look at one of my, the people that I look up to, his name's Myron Golden. I'm like, man, that dude is amazing. Why am I not on his level? Well, I'm not there in life yet. And that's totally okay. Right? Like Myron has probably 20 years on me. And I'm not even like trying to mess with him or try to, put him down, but he's had more experience. Not to say that experience is the overall, denominator, but at the same time, understanding that where he is in life is for him. I think of my son. I love my son. I have a pretty powerful car. My son probably knows how to drive a car. I'm not going to give him the keys to my car right now because he can probably drive this car. Because he would probably wreck this car. And then he could probably scar himself and not want to drive anymore, right? And so God is even smarter than myself. So he would not give you something right now in your current state that you are not ready for. So trust not only the process, but trust the person who put you on this path. Trust God in these moments. Don't compare yourself. I've heard somebody say, don't compare your chapter 2 to somebody else's chapter 15. I love that saying because you never know what that person has gone through to get where they're at, right? Like some people have gone through divorce and all these other things, bankruptcies and this, that, and the third to get where they're at. Are you equipped right now to deal with a divorce or to deal with a bankruptcy or to deal with failing over and over again for 5 years? If you're not, then you say, you know what, my bad. That's your journey. I'm on mine. Okay. In fact, I want you to just stop right now and say, I'm on my own journey. Because truly, that is the answer to the question, is acknowledging that you're on your own journey. All right.
I love that. That reminds me of a quote that says, I trust this next chapter because I know the author of it. Yeah.
Girl, hold on now.
So
Say that one more time.
I trust the next chapter because I know the author of it.
Ooh.
And that's what that reminded me of.
Come on, girl. I love that one.
All right. So here's another one. What should I do when I'm working hard, but nothing seems to be moving or growing? This person said that they feel discouraged because effort doesn't match the results.
So check this out. What should I do when I'm working very hard, but I'm not seeing the results of it?
Basically, they're not moving or growing.
So the first scripture that pops in my mind, I know y'all, you're like, man, this boy knows scripture ups and downs. Listen, I'm a church boy through and through. Do not become weary in well-doing is the first scripture that pops in my mind. I want to encourage you that oftentimes, and we've all seen that little cartoon where the two guys are digging underground and one guy hits, he hits it and there's diamonds that pop up. The other guy's in a different tunnel, but he looks up and sees that, he's still working and he hasn't hit a diamond, but he's literally 2 hits away from even more diamonds than the other guy that he was looking at. I want you to keep working, okay? Because when you plant a seed, there are times where you don't see the evidence of that seed because it's growing. It's growing underground to build strong root systems, to build a strong foundation before you see that thing sprout, right? I believe that bamboo, I want somebody to fact check me on this, but I believe that bamboo is underground for years. before it can sprout up to almost 90 inches in less than like a week or something. I don't know. I want you to check me on that. But if that's true, that's you. Keep working, keep pushing, keep grinding. I want to also remind you that Jesus was alive for 30 years before he ever did a miracle. Jesus was alive for 30 years before he ever did or performed a miracle. Okay, so keep going, because honestly, what happens is you're not seeing your growth, but others around you may be seeing your growth. They may be seeing the fruits of your efforts, right? It's like when you go to the gym, the first 2-3 months, you feel it, but do you really see it? Others will notice it before you do, okay? So keep going, because if God has called you, he's equipped you, and he knows the time to where your fruits will start to show, okay? Did you look it up? Did you look up the bamboo thing?
I tried, and it just says several years. Bamboo grows underground for several years.
Several years.
Initially developing its root system.
Come on.
Yeah.
And then
it takes 4 to 8 years, depending on the species, for the plant to reach its mature size.
Come on, man.
Yeah, so that was a great analogy.
Bamboo takes years before it sprouts up. It's building underground. Come on, y'all. Do not become weary in well-doing. Come on. All right, what you got?
All right, so this is the last question for today.
Okay.
And so many people feel this one. I'm scared to start, scared to launch, scared to fail publicly. What would you tell someone like me?
Scared to start, scared to fail publicly, scared to launch. Man, first thing that comes to my mind is join the BF Squared movement. Join our school community, because if you felt that way, you're not alone. You are not alone. In fact, I was there. So I worked at the restaurant industry, like I told you guys earlier. I worked in the restaurant industry for 8 years total. Around year 6.5 is where I felt as if I've reached the peak, and I started to not resent, but I didn't love where I was anymore. It felt as if that was small and God was calling me to bigger. Now, mind you, this is year 6. I still stayed for 2 more years. Why? Because I was afraid to fail. I was afraid to launch. I was afraid to look stupid, right? Because I come from Whidbey Island, and we have this weird thing where if you leave Whidbey, everybody that has left Whidbey comes back. I didn't want that to be my story, right? I'm like, no, I can't leave, because if I leave, I'll just come back and everybody say, oh, I told you, you wouldn't do it, you wouldn't make it. And so I stayed in the restaurant for 2 more years after that, right? And then COVID happened. COVID, with respect to everybody who lost and suffered during that season, COVID was the best thing that ever happened to myself and my wife and my son, because we made 3 wild decisions June of 2020. 3 wild decisions that changed our lives, right? We launched, we believed, we took steps, and we didn't know what we were stepping into, right? So I would encourage you to, number 1, write down the vision and make it plain, okay? If God is calling you to something, oftentimes he will show us in different ways. Show you in a dream, show you in a soft, whisper, to just be churning on your heart, right? Things like that. And so I would say, write down, okay, God, here's what I hear you saying. Here's what I want to launch. Here's what I want to, to open. Here's what I want to move. Here's the person that I'm interested in, like all the things, right? But we're gonna stick to entrepreneurs. So here's the thing that I want to launch. We'll start to write it down. Write down what you want to do. Write down your goals for your business, right? What do you want to make? Who do you serve? Why do you serve that person? What problem do you solve for people, right? Like get granular on these things. And then when he gives you the sign to go. Don't hesitate. Don't wait. Don't go ask your mama or your daddy, to try to make sure that they say something different than what you've already heard from God. Okay, just go. It's scary, but you know what the scariest thing is? The scariest thing in life, especially for entrepreneurs, is to look back a year from today and you're in the same spot. That to me is scary, because that means that I didn't grow, and I know that I'm not doing what the Lord called me. And I'm speaking from absolute experience because I told you, the year 6 mark, God told me to go. Year 7, I'm still in the same place. Year 8, I'm still in the same place. It literally took an epidemic, okay, for me to move. So I'm speaking from a place of experience when I tell you, just go. All right, launch, and if you fail, get back up and either do it again or do it a different way, right? Like, if you're going to fail, failure is part of success. These two things, I know I'm getting long-winded on this answer, but these two things are not different. You cannot have success without failure. You know why? Because you're going to try something, and failure means that way didn't work. Perfect. Does that mean that is not the right thing to do? No, it's just, you know what? I got to do it a different way, right? When I first saw Alvera, she said, oh Lord. When I first saw Alvera, when she walked in my restaurant looking just so beautiful, I was like, all right, you know, I'm just look at her. I'm gonna say, hey, you know, I just looked at you. Let me tell you something, folks, that didn't work. It didn't work. Giving her the little side eye didn't work, y'all. So years go by because she's in the military, blah, blah, blah. And I had to approach her. I'm like, cool, I'm gonna go say hi. Go and I say hi, get her something specially made, you know, because I had to hook up with the chefs in the back. You know what I'm saying? You remember that? Right? That approach, it worked. But still, there was something missing. And so I was like, you know what, cool. Next time she comes in, because I was putting on a concert. I had a band called Devante Blow and True Horizon. And so putting on a concert. I said, hey, Alvera, I would love for you to come to this concert. I don't have the flyer right now, but next time you're in, I'll make sure to have one for you. You know, tell me why the next time she came in with her mom. Why you come in the restaurant with your mom? Knowing I was trying to holler.
She has to eat too.
Right? So the next time she comes with her mom. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, you know what? I got to play this different, because if I try to just give her the eye, her mom's going to catch on for sure. Different way. I know that's a long soliloquy, but what I'm saying is, don't give up because the first attempt was not successful, or because the second attempt was not successful, or even the third. All right? You have to be resilient. So, with all that being said, that was the last question that we have for today. Thank you guys so much. Listen, I also want to let you know about the BF Squared movement. Listen, this is not a joke. There are so many of us out there who are faith-driven, growth-minded, who are entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs. I want you in this community. We encourage each other. We hold each other to the standard. We meet weekly to talk about our wins, our lessons, and we're even doing a business planning here in a couple of weeks. And so we do this because it can be so lonely out there. All right, entrepreneurship is lonely in general, and then you throw on the fact that we are Christian entrepreneurs, to where there's a lot of places in the marketplace where you can't say, you know, oh yeah, Jesus this or Jesus that. I want you here. All right, we're building up a culture, a community, to where we all are thriving. All right, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and of course, in our businesses. All right, so join the BF Squared movement. We appreciate you. Alvera, you have anything you want to say?
I don't.
You don't?
Thank you
good?
for tuning in.
Thank you for tuning in. All right, y'all. Peace.